As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
Jeff, let's start off this one. This one's good for you here. You're not gonna be happy when you see it. This one says, I wanted to start with this one because it's kind of a fun one. It says social networking. Average video gamer has made 5 new friends through online play. And so the article here talks about how they did a survey with 2,000 adults, and they found that the average gamer has become so close with their online pals, they'd invite 4 of them to their wedding. In fact, it says 39% have seen an increase in their friends list since the pandemic began. And it says, aside from friendship, nearly half of gamers, 46%, believe it's important that their significant others play video games, which is understandable since 43% dated someone they met through online gaming. I mean, I don't know if you guys are shocked at some of those stats. That 43% of the people polled dated someone they met through online gaming. That seems like a very large number, no?
Tinder, are you listening? Bumble, are you listening? Match.com, are you listening? This is crazy. These are so high.
Jeff, I don't know if you had thoughts on it.
No, that's a good point. I mean, each of those companies should have a gaming strategy. I think some of them have implemented some little gaming mechanics maybe into their apps, but yeah, that last number seems shockingly high.
I want to. Oh, sorry, Jeff. I thought you were done.
No, I didn't have. I was kind of just rambling. I don't know much.
What I want. So we saw the Bumble activation with Gen G. I loved it because Gen G has a female roster. They're very. They're such a great organization, I think, for advancing underrepresented interests. As is my own org, XSET, shameless plug. But what I loved about that activation was Bumble getting into esports, making an investment, pairing with a team that align with their values. What they need to do now is pair with someone like Epic, where now you have an LTM lobby and you have open matchmaking for your party, and it will pair you perhaps with someone of comparable skill,
funny, actually.
of someone that you potentially could be attracted to one another, and do matchmaking via also, I think, dating, like a blind first date. That would be the next.
Wouldn't a big skill gap make more sense to pair you with someone where there's a huge skill gap?
I think
because then that creates more conversation, right? It's like if one person is carrying the other. I don't know.
They got to A/B test it. Is the short answer to that, and we'll see what works.
No, it was the numbers I thought were shocking, but speaks to the power of gaming. We do so many stories. We hear so many stories of the negative impacts of gaming and gaming addiction and all these kinds of big scary words. I just thought this was a fun one to start with, given how positive these numbers are. Like 5 new, and I thought about it myself, like just from my own experience. And for me, it's like way more than 5, like in terms of people I've played with who I'd consider friends today. You sort of scoff at it and go, oh, that seems like a lot. But when you stop to think, Stuart says, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, culturally, a lot of times when I talk about friends to other people in the industry, you say my real life friend, right? Implying that person's special or different because you actually know them in real life. But also, if you think about it, those are usually the rarer friends you're introducing. Like if I were to introduce an online friend, I don't say he's my online friend because that's usually, I think, a little bit more assumed. And to your point, Paul, about just the nicer stories, some of the better received, I think, Instagram and social posts are when you see those online friends that meet for the first time that are either best mans at someone's wedding or they're hugging. You know what I mean? Like I've seen so many of those. I watch them every time. They're so true. And I think we all have an experience or a story like that. So definitely important to highlight those when they come around.
Stuart says, second the Quake sentiment with some Team Fortress. I mean, I hard to disagree, but that game's a little long in the tooth now. I mean, so is Quake. Hardware Barbecue says, hardly surprising. Many people know each other for at least 7 to 10 years. Some of them are married to each other too. You see it especially in MMOs, right? Like in WoW, that was not uncommon to see people who have played the game together for a long time get married. Yeah. Hardware Barbecue says, but really depends how many countries are included in this demographic. Do you guys think it would change? His follow-up comment said, maybe it includes numbers from South Korea too. So the question is, would these numbers be believable if you include countries like South Korea, China? I mean, they polled 2,000 adults from the US. Mm-hmm. Does anyone here think the results would be different if the countries were different? I don't think so. That's my quick take.
I mean, there might be certain countries like that he mentioned, China, South Korea, that I would think maybe even would be more just because it's such a gaming culture. But yeah, I mean, you could certainly find countries that would be less, that are maybe less attuned to gaming or whatnot. But generally, no, I wouldn't expect massive variance.
Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. DeVos agrees. It wouldn't be different. And Tom says some great activation opportunities around dating. Nice. All kinds of possibilities. There's definitely not enough happening there, I feel. Like there's definitely more opportunity than is being pursued. Starwise says Japan would be an interesting statistic to see. I'm curious why you guys are singling out Japan specifically. I don't know if you guys have thoughts or ideas on that, but I am curious.
I assume it was just such a big gaming culture, but I don't know if there's something about the dating culture or,
Starwise, I'm curious what he's implying here. I thought the implication here is it would be lower in a place like Japan, but maybe that's me reading between the lines. Hardware Barbecue says, all right, time to up your Overwatch ranking, lads.
Instead of going to the gym, you're upping your ranking in the game, right? No haircut.
This seems a lot better. I don't know. I definitely can get on board with that. Hardware Barbecue. Tinder profiles with like your, Grandmaster Season 3. No, but I'm curious on the Japan thing. If you guys think Japan would specifically be higher or lower in terms of people making social connections from gaming. All right, guys, let's. Starway says spot on. I can see it being much lower since I remember hearing that most gamers are playing mobile games because they're always on the go. I mean, Starway, that doesn't imply that they're not social, right? Like a lot of mobile gaming is very social. I think anywhere like the one correlation would probably just be between time spent gaming, right? Would be with time spent. So if you're in a culture where there's a lot of gaming, you're going to have more social connections. If you're in a culture where there's less gaming, you'll probably have less. But I don't think the type of gaming really matters. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree.
Well, I see his point a little bit. If you're playing single, casual mobile games where there isn't a social element, like then it's not as important. You're obviously not going to meet people in the game if the game doesn't have a social element. But I generally think I agree with your intuition, but in Starwise's point, I can see what he said.
Hardware Barbecue says just one line. I'm platinum ranking. I mean, Hardware. I don't know if that would be. I don't know. Platinum in Overwatch. I don't know how much that's going to impress the ladies. Hardware Barbecue says some streamers told me this, both men and women, so it must be true. Starwise says the always on the go is the main point since they aren't really spending much time away from work or home. I mean, yeah. Look, this statistic didn't imply that the dating happened in real life, and there was nothing in the article that implied that, right? Like all these connections could still be virtual. I don't know what percentage sort of evolved to real life, but Johan says it might be a more honest platform to start from since you can't exaggerate your rank. That's really good. Johan, that's very clever, in fact. And you're right. You can't. I mean, you really can't. If you are hard stuck gold, you are hard stuck gold, and there's not much anyone can do about it.